Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Swat coming at you with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. Now, you may have noticed there wasn't a roundup last week. I was out of town on vacation with my family. And so, we're going to start off with last week's roundup. So, kicking things off, we've got X-Men number 28. Where we left off, Dr. Stasis was planning to remove the Genesis Thorak from Juggernaut and, well, eat it to become the unstoppable Dr. Stasis. He informed Firestar of this plan, and as Firestar is a planted mole within Orcus anymore, well, she has taken upon herself to prevent that. Also, Sunfire went into Otherworld to find Redroot the Forest, one of the Iraqi champions from the contest in Otherworld. Yoshi opens, found that Sunfire found Redroot and has been basically stuck Redroot in his chest so that Redroot would survive, because without the soil of Araco, well, Redroot won't survive. But long journey, very nearly dying, but found by Apocalypse, who returns, who saves Sunfire and as well as Redroot. So, moving on though, we Stasis is working on his plans. Turns out that Orcus has discovered mutants. There are mutants in Latveria, and they're apparently being flaunted by Doctor Doom. During all of this, Fei Long is telling Stasis of this, and then as well as Firestar. Firestar slips a thumb drive into one of their computers to, well, download all the necessary information. But the plan now is basically for Stasis to become the unstoppable Dr. Stasis, and then, cause problems for then he can cause problems for Doom personally. But Firestar goes off to the Henry Gyrick Re-Education Center in the hopes, with the intention of convincing Cyclops to stand trial and plead for mercy. She gets there. She sees what's going on with Juggernaut, knocks out an Orcus soldier, goes into the operating theater where Juggernaut is being operated on, basically destroys the sedative that's keeping him under, goes to talk to Cyclops. They've been communicating. She's been truthfully communicating him with via Morse code. But Juggernaut begins his escape, and now comes the point of Firestar not acting, because she has to get her ass kicked by the Juggernaut. And, well, yeah, Flame Blasts aren't going to do historically don't do much against Juggernaut. So they have their fight, during which Firestar basically has Juggernaut eat the thumb drive that she got. Takes some hits. Basically explains that she's Jean set her up as a double agent. So, but just sell the idea of him. He needs to sell him beating her, and he escapes, makes it to the X-Men. With the information about Doom's mutants. Shadowcat and Miss Marvel are sent to deal with this. Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, and Moira X interrogate Firestar afterwards. Moira threatening Firestar with the Blight Swill knife. And everyone just kind of say, hey, there could, one could say that perhaps we're looking too much into this. Though even still, the possibilities exist, and maybe Stasis' pet mutant needs to be made an example of as well. There's a memo from Stasis to the rest of Orga's leadership, basically saying, that when all is said and done, Firestar is to either have her X gene removed, if that's what she chooses, or leave Earth. Those will be her options. But she's not to be harmed until then. Kate and Kamala arrive in Latveria. Kamala still doesn't know where they are until they run into Wolverine. However, they're told where they are by another new arrival, Doom, who has at least 3 of his mutants with him. And that is where the issue ends. I remember seeing in the previews that there was an upcoming part of Fall of X that was going to feature Latverian mutants. So, and Doom. Yeah, Doom is very openly just has been manipulated. Doom will protect the mutants under his charge, as he protects the other Latvian citizen. But good issue. Glad to see Juggernaut getting loose. I wouldn't have entirely been surprised if the unstoppable Dr. Stasis was the thing that ended up happening, but at this point, I'm happy to see them all. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Magneto number 4, wrapping up the Retro Marvel miniseries. Where we left off, the New Mutants had arrived at the Forbidden Islands and were promptly attacked by their small teacher, Magneto. Once again, dressed in his full supervillain regalia, fighting alongside Irene. The New Mutants are knocked out. They have, and Magneto explains that they're going to be taught one final lesson by their teacher. fighting the Sisterhood of Evil Mutants. Iray's Sisterhood of Evil Mutants. And the mutants actually handle them pretty well. Because they're used to fighting as a team. Sisterhood, not so much. This enrages Iray, who then turns the new mutants against one another. Magneto looks on, still under Iray's influence, but also retreats back into his subconscious, into his mind, where the ghosts of his past basically say, "Hey, this isn't you, bud." And now joining the ghosts of his past is the more Magneto in his purple outfit when he first embraced Xavier's dream and started working with the X-Men. When attacking the ghosts of his past, including namely his mother, Magneto is a moment of clarity, and in the physical world, Iray detects this, goes after Magneto. It's noted that the two of them do have a mental link, which Magneto uses to stop her. However, she's catatonic, and though Magneto says that they'll take her back to the mansion in the hopes that she can recover and she can be helped. But the new mutants basically look away for a moment, and she's gone, as are members of the Sisterhood. Magneto, they do look for her, but with all the subterranean tunnels in the island that Magneto built in when he formed when he made the base there, they could search for her throughout them for weeks, months even, and probably never find her. So they head back to the mansion. The Sisterhood is caring for Iray. Magneto reflects upon his mother, and Rain goes to talk to him, but Magneto does want she should be in bed, but kind of walks things back to, hey, and they have a teacher-student bonding moment. And that is where the series ends. I like this book. I didn't really read much of, I haven't read much of the 80s New Mutants. Most of what I read is, in fact, from the later portion of the series. Largely after Cable took over, as well as the New Mutants tie-ins with Mutant Massacre and Inferno. Moving on, though, so I don't have that strong nostalgia factor that I have with some of these other retro Marvel minis. Largely because, as I said, I haven't really read anything from the era in question, but it does help that the recent portrayals of Magneto in the X books, and I do have a degree of nostalgic love of the New Mutants characters. So seeing them back when they were younger is nice. But moving on to our next book, we have Spider-Boy #1. So Spider-Boy was introduced at the end of Spider-Verse event crossover, or not crossover, story. They opened up the Spider-Man, the adjective-free Spider-Man book by Dan Slott and Mark Bagley. He was Spider-Man's sidekick, but then something happened and everyone forgot about him. More recently, he's been trying to to work alongside Spider-Man, though Spider-Man feels is a little iffy about it. Um, a picture of him kind of monstering out and biting Electro to bring him down with basically a venom infused bite. Venom is in poison, not not symbiote. Um, but a picture of him doing that caught the attention of Madame Monstrosity, who apparently created Spider Boy. So we open with Spider-Man and Spider-Boy dealing with apparently one of Spider-Boy's villains, Gutterball. Homeboy's got an indestructible bowling ball over his head. But Spidey and Spidey take him down. Day is saved. But the people in the bowling alley are apprehensive of Spider-Boy, having seen the picture of him. But Spider-Man tries, and Spidey sees the Daily Bugle, so goes to talk to Robbie, as well as the owner of the bowling alley. An agreement is made that basically he'll get the key to the bowling alley, bowl whenever he wants. So Peter goes to tell Bailey, Spider-Boy's civilian identity, Bailey Briggs, about that, and Madame Monstrosity hears about it, and so she's sending someone after him, but he's during the ceremony at the bowling alley, however, one of Madame Monstrosity's creations shows up, which triggers a flashback from Spider-Boy's creation. To try and keep up the spirits of one of his fellow test subjects, a young boy named Eli. Bailey, does crack the occasional jokes, including the old classic, what do you call an elephant mixed with a rhino? Hell if I know. Well, that's what's attacking Eli as hell if I know. Combination elephant and rhinoceros. But Spider-Boy does what he can to at least subdue Halifino. But Madame Monstrosity gets confirmation that yes, Spider-Boy is one of her creations. And Spider-Boy manages to talk some sense into Eli, who goes off, and he tells friend Christine that the next time he sees Halifino, he's going to save him. That's where that's where the A story ends. We have a backup story. The Thanksgiving Day Parade, Bailey and Christina are watching, or in the crowd watching, and Spider-Boy takes Christina up a wall and so they can up the side of the building so they can watch from above, better view. Turns out the Squirrel Girl's up there as well, but Spider-Boy catches one of the balloons and gets his version of Spider-Sense goes off, and so him and Squirrel Girl leap into action. Apparently, it's another of Spider-Boy's longtime foes, Balloon Man. Apparently, he has wacky waving inflatable tube men hidden right under some of the manholes. All made with polymer X, like as the rest of his balloon platoon is. And apparently, Balloon Man has had a long-term exposure to helium, and so, yeah. But his balloons are all filled with various offensive gases, or attack gases. Knockout gas, tear gas, laughing gas, which Squirrel Girl finds out the hard way. But and the the various parade floats end up becoming the newest additions to to Balloon Man's balloon platoon, setting up the second issue of Spider-Boy. And that is where the issue ends. Good start. I've been liking the character. At first, a little put off by him, but my interest at least has been piqued enough that I at least want to know what. I'm curious enough to follow it and see if Spider-Boy becomes the sidekick that he claims we all forgot he was. Moving on, though, to our next book, we've got Venom number 27. Where we left off, members of the terror group No Name had attacked Toxin and managed to separate the Toxin symbiote from its current host, a boy named Bren, leaving the symbiote injured. The symbiote actually let Bren go, as the attack from No Name was potentially killing them both, though it's clearly targeted at more Toxin than Bren. Bren Waters, that's his name. But while this was happening, Venom, Dylan Brock, and the most recent addition to his symbiote hive, Widow, Natasha Romanoff, were on their way to meet up with Toxin so they could figure out a way to stop No Name. But Bren is now in the custody of No Name. They appear to be planning to publicly kill him so that Alchemax will release the files on what they've done. Venom and Widow managed to find the Toxin symbiote. It's weakened, needs a host, so that they can go rescue Bren. A no-name trooper is grabbed by Sleeper and Widow. This also makes for Widow and Sleeper's introduction to one another. No Name makes it clear that they don't grasp the concept of the symbiotes being sentient beings that have personalities and may even have names. As the soldier that's talking to Bren is shocked to learn that Bren apparently named his symbiote. But Toxin bonds with the no-name soldier, while Dylan and Widow try and find Bren's father, hoping to get see what they can do about getting the file on the information. Turns out that No Name does intend to publicly murder Bren. Venom and Widow explain that they have not and will not do anything to harm Bren. They're actually trying to save him. to Bren's father. And he says that he'll help him get the files from Malcolm X, though, that No Name wants, while apparently an armored sniper has Bren's father in his sight. And the issue ends with Bren and some others placed in an empty swimming pool. The explanation that the pool is going to fill up. Within 52 hours, the pool will fill with the contaminated water that killed the relatives of the members of No Name. And that Bren and the others will be in there when it happens. They'll die long before the pool fills up. But yeah, that is, as I've said, that is where the issue ends. Interesting. I'm curious. While I figure that at least somewhat relatively longer term is the hinted at Venom War from, I think, Venom 25. I'm curious to see what more shorter term things are going to happen. And once again, Toxin Symbiote gets a new host, which I think makes for its third, at least. I mean, hey, Venom's had more than a few hosts, too, so, you know. Moving on, though, to our last book for the moment, we have Star Wars number 40, continuing the Dark Droids tie-in story. So, where we left off in this particular series, Lando had taken Lobot to Jabba's palace in the hopes that the talkie droid he had gotten to Jabba could help save Lobot's life. And however, Jabba's palace was overrun by the Scourge, and Lobot was taken over by it as well. Lando and the talkie managed to escape around the same time that Jabba's henchmen returned to the palace and began trying to take it back. In Dark Droids, we learned that, Lobot's not the only cyborg that has been overtaken by the Scourge, as Alliance operative Magda, an ex-girlfriend of Dr. Chelly Afra, as well as bounty hunter and former Imperial trooper Braylon Valance, had also been taken by the Scourge. So the issue opens with the talkie basically just being an asshole to Lando. Lando turns him off, and then get a flashback to Lando and Lobot and Alderaan. Lobot is trying to figure out just how Lando's able to do what he does, you know, because the fact that he lies so easily. And it also makes Lobot question the nature of their friendship. Lando explaining that you know, he makes a point of keeping his lies consistent. You know, if he appears as if he tells one person something, he makes a note that that person has been told this thing about. Now, this is the role he plays for that person, and so he has to make sure that if he ever runs into that person, that's who he has to be. But apparently, he says that every con man, you know, a professional liar, needs to have one person that they're always honest with. That's who Lobot is for Lando. But Lando returns to Home 1, tells Lando what's happened, and he says, "Hey, we gotta find Lobot, okay?" And she agrees to come along. So Lando, Luke, Chewie, and Leia go to the planet of Epiconia. massive droid fleet is leaving the planet. Lando basically disables the Falcon's navicomputer as, well, it does have a droid brain. Basically, is to avoid the Scourge from taking over the Falcon. They land on one of the various large satellite dishes that's on the planet. It's not an easy landing, but everyone's able to walk away from it. That counts as a good landing. The Scourge has various people of Epiconia captured and trying to figure out how to take them over. But upon discovery of Lando, Leia, Luke, and Chewie, well, the Scourge's initial hosts, or initial body, the droids, are sent out to stop them. Lando, Luke, Chewie, and Lobot, or Lando, Luke, Leia, and Lando blast away through the droids as the Scourge-controlled Lobot laughs. And that is where the issue ends. And that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Mastodon, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.